This video, for me, is very hard to post, hard to share. Okay. I want to start out this video by saying rest in power to George Floyd. What we witnessed was a painful, vile, brutal act of misuse of power, excessive to the point of death. Okay. Someone felt they had the freedom to take someone's life out in the open like it was second nature. This could have all been avoided. That man died unnecessarily. Brother, son, a father. He was alpha male. Okay. Now, let me go to the first part of this video I want to get to, which is the first problem. Problem number one. When the call came in, Officer Koenig and Officer Lane arrived on the scene. They had apprehended the suspect, which was George Floyd. Now, once they apprehended him, they cuffed him. He sat down. Now, this man was in full compliance. He didn't resist whatsoever. He's a big guy. He could have. He didn't resist. Whether it's a $20 bill, whether it's a $10 bill, not just saying $10 bill, whatever the story is, doesn't render what happened, okay, to this father, brother, etc. Okay. No one's life should have been lost, okay, on this day, May 25th, 2020. Okay. Why do I say that? Because first mistake. He's already apprehended. They get him, walk him over to the car, he stumbles. Okay? Fine, they pick him up. They attempt to get him in the car. He's getting in the car. He says he's claustrophobic, whatever. Okay? Fine. Once they get him to the car, his head is in the car. Officer, the second car pulls up. Okay? And Officer Chauvin and Tatao pull up and feel the need to assist. I guess they got the radio call. It's so strange to me how fast he was on the scene, and he's already apprehended. So there's no need for a second car to be there. Maybe to block traffic, But what Officer Chauvin did, he went around and opened the car door and helped assist getting George in the car, Mr. Floyd. Fine. Once he's in the car, all Officer Chauvin had to do was close the door. Okay? He's on the street side of the car. All he had to do, the suspect is in, you pulled him in by his shoulders, or however you pulled him into the car, he's in the car fully, close the door. And all those guys had to do on the other end, put his feet in, slam the door. Routine, right? If you get in the car with him after that and you say, hey, I can't breathe, this and that, then you pull him over, you call a paramedic. He's in the car. He's contained in the car. Okay? You got these cop shows where the guys get in the car, they're kicking the window, they're spitting at police, they're unruly, and they're get me, and they're banging their head on the window and all that. There was none of that. None of that. Case would have been over. He'd have went to the court. He'd have went overnight, magistrate, whatever, and would have been released with a fine or whatever, if that was the case, if he was proven guilty. Because the kids that reported they weren't sure. It seemed to be like a counterfeit or whatever. Now, I won't put them in this at this point in time. We know you can check the dollar with the little magic marker or put the window to the light or whatever. We're not going to go into that. That's not important. Okay? They didn't expect what happened to happen. Quite certain. So let's leave them out of it because they're not professionals. Okay? Professional law enforcement are trained in these matters. They do it on the daily. and they do what they already know. They won't do something different. They do what comes natural after years of training, good or bad. Okay? So, what did Officer Chauvin do? He goes around, not only is he helping them get in the car, he pulls them out the other side of the car onto the street. No one's talking about that. Why would you take an individual who's in the car, who you're trying to get in the car, take him out on the other side and lay him on the concrete? Why would you do that? It's not your place. This is not your call. Number one. Number two, he's already in the car. You assisted him very well. Close the door. Great job. That's a good officer. Great. You helped your fellow man, help your fellow officer out. You got him in, apprehended, doors closed. Boom, check. Everything's good. Go back to your route. Next call. Fine. So the Officer Chauvin took it upon himself to take things to another level, to turn it up a notch. Taking him out, getting a knee on him. Okay, we saw what happened there. Okay. Now, there was no need for that. It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary at that point. He knew this guy. Why? He knew him from the club. All right? Or they worked together. He knew he was a security guard. He's popular with the ladies. All right? What does he care? He's married. What does Officer Chauvin care? He's married with wife. All right? Non-white too. So, there you go. What can you say about that? It's just weird. Okay? But let's move on. Takes him out the car. He gets him in an illegal hold for 8 minutes, 46 seconds. Approximately. Other cops assist. One guy says, hey, get in the car, man. Get in the car. He says, I can't. You got me held down. We all saw that video. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. That's a mistake. Okay? So, now that ensues, of course, that creates the outrage. Because we're watching this in real time. And Officer Chauvin is there like, yeah, I'm just another day at the office. Holding him down. No, it's not. It's a new day. Not another day at the office. Unfortunately. For him. Should never happen like this. Okay? Fortunately for us, we got it on video where it was very effective. Had people been at work, busy about their lives, the economy was up, who knows? It was just a perfect storm. And this was something that you couldn't look away. It broke your heart. It's hurtful. It sends chills down your spine to think. First thing I thought about was his daughter. Looking at someone kill her hero. That's psychological. That's deep. That's deep. Anyone taking someone's life, you see that, you're yelling. You've seen that on TV, and they're showing it over and over and over, every channel. How do you explain that to a child? Cops are good. How? She's going to need therapy behind that. Not only her kid, the officer's child. There's 2 kids. They're going to have problems with that too. This is your dad, the guy that, this is your dad in history when they go back in the books. 100 years, 200 years. Because this is the changer. This is a pivotal point in our society, in history, because this affected the whole world. It was the common boiling of emotions and frustration of getting beaten for 401 years. As far as we know, could go further. Who knows? But this is on record, right? You got all these boilings, and when it comes to accountability, you get gaslight. It's frustrating. For any people, I don't care if you're green, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's frustrating. Okay, you keep walking for change, and hoping for whatever, hoping this will happen, and people will have this idea of change. This one, different, big time. Rodney King thing, and I remember all that this is totally hits different. And I said that when it has, I said, this is different. I said, whoa, there's something here, real. Okay. Took me a while to do a video. I had to really just such a different situation, you know. Now, second thing that I had a problem with, you got protesters marching, you got people spray painting on the doors and fires and taking the police spray. You got pandemonium, you got chaos in Minneapolis. Then it starts spreading. And you're waiting for leadership. This all could have been avoided with leadership. You know, someone to step in and go, hey, whoa, let's get calm. The job of the authority, top commander-in-chief, is to create and balance social norms. The state level are the agents to do that. When it gets past the agents, you go to federal, okay? You can't be hands-off when it's state to state to state, and it's infectious, and it's going throughout the whole nation that you're supposed to be in control of. That's the time to step up. It's the time to put your balls out and go. At least you go to Minneapolis, you go to the shrine, you get clearance, you clear the streets, whatever, motorcade, whatever, but you go and you pay attention and find out what's going on with my police department. Don't leave your state and local officials hanging. They ran. They said, let them have it. We can't. It's too much. You go in, you left them on their own. Left them out to dry. Left the people here out to dry. You can't come. Send someone, governors, something, authority of some sort. That doesn't work, then you step in. It's a mistake. It's a missed opportunity. Another blowing opportunity here. Okay. You're on your way home from work. You pull up. You hear noising inside the house. You hear kids. The kids are yelling at each other. The dog is barking. The phone is ringing. Your wife's sitting home and she's pulling her hair out. You walk in this pandemonium. Everybody's going crazy. You know. Dad's home now. You hear him yelling, "Oh, hey, everybody! Whoa, 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 whoa! What's going on here?" Well, he took my toy, and I had this. Okay. And what happened? Well, he's got my candy. He took my sneakers. Okay. So you got your toy? Yeah. He's got your candy? Yeah. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. You find out what both sides, what their needs are. You hear them out. You find a resolve. You take give him back his toy, give him his candy. If you want it, you can ask him. That belongs to him. That's his. You don't touch that. That's his. If he allows you to, you ask permissions. Boom, boom, boom. You set ground rules. You restructure the family. You put the wife at ease. Okay? At that state and local level. She can run the house again should you have to go back out to work. Why? Because you brought calm and resolve. The fact that you didn't come to the local spot where the hot spot was, you let the whole house go in flames. You ran and sat in the car. You know, these are the times to see what you're made of. What a great opportunity to step in and make America great again. You can't look out the window with fires blazing and everything else going on and saying America's doing great. You can't gaslight this one. And to the credit of the authorities in the upper levels, the upper echelon, they did recognize that there was 2 protests going on. A peaceful one and agitators. Okay? The thing now is that you got about 5,000 cameras at any pop. So anyone trying to discredit the functions or any kind of march of any kind, for whatever reason, that's your right to do that. Okay? Now, of any kind, it's going to get seen. Someone's going to you have people spray painting Black Lives Matter that weren't, black. It was just crazy. And they were clearly quickly discarded and recognized. So by the president. So with that, which is good, right? But you figure, okay, now he's got momentum. Now he's going to start picking things up. No, doesn't do that. Okay, he goes on to now, instead of coming down and bringing resolve, he wants to now bring in military. I'm going to bring my generals in. If need be, we're going to go hard. We're going to push. And I'm going to paraphrase this because I don't want to quote. And I don't want this to get too political. This is about George and the travesty that we experienced and that we visualized. Okay? But I'm doing this part to make my point that we can get, to some kind of resolve on the wide scale. I'm getting somewhere with this because in the end, is what we want. We want to get to the resolve here. And why it was a blown opportunity for the authorities to really step in. Now you need the king for this. When the king can't take care of his castle, you lose confidence in this king. I don't care what side of the coin you're on. I.e. example, you got officials that are now bailing on him. Okay? Why? It's time to step up. The very fact of including the military to go, you call them your generals, he calls them his generals, to rectify the situation in the state and local government, on the local town people. That is a no-no. You never, ever, ever do that. There's the only circumstance when it's a dire emergency. This is not that time. This is not that time. This goes against the Constitution. Straight up. This is why General James Mattis jumped out. In 2018, he resigned. And I'm going to give you a quote because I don't want to misquote this one. He says, and what happened was they asked him in 2018, why, why are you resigning? He says, I don't want to talk about that right now. When the time comes, I will. Okay, I guess we'll know. So I guess the time has come because, was it Monday? He was quoted, and I'm going to let you know what he said literally. He said, Donald Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people, does not even pretend to try. Instead, he tries to divide us. We are witnessing the consequences of 3 years of this deliberate effort. That's a powerful statement by itself. That's very powerful. He goes on to say, we are witnessing 3 years without mature leadership. I'm just talking about leadership. Okay? Now, to that point, General West, now, General Mattis, James Mattis is he's a Marine Corps general. Okay? Now you have General Wesley Clark in the Army, from the Army. He found it very offensive, the fact that the president, the commander-in-chief, he's the commander-in-chief of all our military. You see him, he's the commander-in-chief. That goes without saying. However, he has no place to say what he said. It's very offensive to us, military. It's very offensive. All ranks, private on up. It's an insult because it's not what we do. It's not what we stand for. Now, the problem was what's offensive about it. He is the commander-in-chief. And if he says for us to go, we have to go in there. Okay? So, he didn't get to all the details why he actually, he really, but it goes against what he believes and what the Constitution says directly. He's not going to, he'd rather lose his job than violate the Constitution of the United States. Because why? That's the democracy. Okay, that's the democracy contract that was built. This country was built on. Now, whether we held that up or not, whether they held it up or not, I should say, is another question. Okay. So, I won't get into Article 1 and about we're considered three black slaves were considered three-fifths of a man and all that kind of stuff. It's nonsense. Animals and all that stuff. So we're not going to get into that. Okay? It's silly. But I will go on to say, and so the leadership is what the problem is, because here we are. Had he went to Minneapolis, I'm sorry, and set a calm. We're going to figure this out. They will be prosecuted, and they're going to go through and look at the police system. The police department and the unions are very strong, very powerful, got a lot of power in government. Shouldn't, but it does. Don't ask me, I don't know. Okay? So, a lot of influence on that part. Okay? But leadership is going to do with that. You're in charge. You're in charge of the bus. Okay? This is your baby. You're in a you're in a voting year. You have to vote. You've got droves of people in the streets, black, white. This one is so different. So different. The march and protesters go, the peaceful protests, they go to Washington and they put down Black Lives Matter in the street, part of the protest. They come to your front door. What do? You go check out the bunker. Well, just the inspection, just inspecting it out. More gaslighting, more running and dodging. That's fine, okay? Check that out. Now go outside and address the people. No. Now, as of Thursday, 3 or 4 days ago, he's reinforced the gates outside of the White House. Now, to General Mattis's point, he's working on dividing the people, not joining, keeping them separated. He's dividing people. Okay? That's the general's words, not mine. I can agree, I concur. I see what the general's talking about. I feel the division. But I agree with him 100%. The same way General Wesley Clark agrees with him. General Wesley Clark found it very offensive. And he said, I'm glad General Mattis said that. General James Mattis said that. I'm glad he said that. I agree 100%. He's on square with that comment he said. Now, you've got a lot of high-ranking officials, people in government, they're starting to bail. They're starting to bail. I had the opportunity a couple of times. Like I said, this thing could have went a lot of ways much better, but it just went all the ways bad. It was kind of the perfect storm with it. We had the COVID, people sitting at home, like I said, and watching and TV'd out, Zoomed out, Netflix out, all these things. So your focus is, boom. You see something like that, someone getting murdered right in front of you, the life leaving that person, it draws chills down your spine if you have a spine. It puts chills in your spine. I still have images of that, man. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's burning. It's very subliminal. It's very subliminal. You had no problem doing that. Today it's a black person. One day it could be green, blue, somebody you know. No, they won't do that. Well, he did this in the open. Who knows what? There's no stopping him at this point, unless someone does something. There's no stopping him. Hey, hey. Okay, so because you have black cops. I know people that are in all that. It's military. I have a lot of military, right? People that are not, people that are in, people that are firemen. I have a lot of all kinds. We're all over. Everybody's all over the place, which is diversity, right? Okay, so the leadership part hurts because the world is watching to see what you do. And now, here's my opinion. The wall is psychological. When things get bad, they want to see, the world wants to see what will you do when shit hits the fan. You run into a bunker, you build up a high, because what he just did a few days ago is the White House, the walls of the White House, the fence, they've been reinforced with chain links going all the way around the White House. And it's like a fortress now. I'll give you a quote from the New York Times. Oh, so he built this fortress 3 days ago, and he's still adding to the fortress. They're calling it a fortress now. Okay? And what they reported, they said security concerns give White House a fortified look. That's the title. Okay? The Times magazine. And it goes on to say, it increasingly resembles a Washington version of the Green Zone that sheltered American and Iraqi officials in Baghdad. Now, that's a powerful statement. Is that he does a lot of talking about terrorists. Oh, this terror here. When the protest started, there's terrorists out there in the groups and trying to scare people from coming out to join the protest. Certain demographic, I'm sure. This didn't persuade them at all. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Generation Z. Very important here. But the psychological part here for me, and I could be way off base. I'm just a coach here trying to just bring out some world issues on a second. This is an important issue, right? But it reads to me from some of my experience. But it reads to me, a person like this, he needs shelter. Okay? He has big talk, but he needs shelter. Why? Why do I say that? He came in office talking about building a wall. Okay? To separate people. Us from South America, Mexico, whatever you want to call it. All of the below. Okay? He mentioned the wall. He's building this wall, and that's great. Okay, that's one. Okay. Now, he's building a fortress around the White House. Checking the bunker. Now he's bent chain link fences the past few days here. And this is ongoing right now as I speak. Okay? And you're securing yourself. That's like going in your house. Someone's in you have your house, right? And you're cooking in the stove. Someone's cooking in the stove. There's a fire in the house. You go in another room to avoid the fire. No matter where you go, you're still in the house. You go downstairs. Make sure it's fireproof. Still got the smoke. House comes down, it's going to come down on you. You can't run from the issue. The best way is to take it head on. But why would you build a wall? Because you don't want to face the reality. It goes against your beliefs, your criteria values. Your criterion values are who you are, what you thought about as you grew up, what you were exposed to, what you've learned. Those first things that you learned, your brain, your mind is like a hard drive, an empty hard drive. And whatever comes to that hard drive first sticks. It sticks there. From 0 to 7 years old, they say 5. I think 7 is the lock-in. From 5 to 7 is the most powerful part. That your mind, you lock in these principles, good, bad, or indifferent. And you lock them in and they stay with you until you start getting older and becoming self-actualized and start working on self-development on the things you want to change. Look at my videos. Well, I keep getting the wrong girl. I keep getting the same kind of girl. This, that. The criterion values are things that you hold true. Well, those are your beliefs. And it's very hard to break without Awareness. If you're not aware of these things, they're very hard to break. That's why some people can't understand what the protest is all about. What's the problem? What did he do wrong? It's their criteria and values. Someone told them, hey, little Johnny, you're this, and that. And they go, oh, that's great. And that works. It's very powerful. A lot of things I learned, hey, you go outside, 3 strikes, this, that, and other. And I go, I'm like, wow, why? What did I do? I didn't, But I learned to work. You have to learn to work on yourself. No one's perfect. Okay? So, what my point is this: when your belief, someone that's narcissistic, in this case, he's doing short. I'm sure I'm not surprised at anybody with this, but those indicators is that anything that goes against your belief, you deny it. You don't face it. You turn away from it. It doesn't exist. You go into a little bubble. That bubble you have, you want to bring people in that bubble. You don't go outside the bubble. You bring people in your bubble. Got it? Because you can't face the reality of things not going the way you believe they will. And that's painful. It equals pain. People do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. Right? So, what does this all mean? Hopefully now, but the good part is the change. Because the change is inevitable. Look at the streets, it's integrated protest. Peaceful protest. Obviously, black people aren't evil, because if they were, the people that went to the rallies wouldn't be there. They'd be more afraid to go. Which is what they were saying. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's looting, it's dangerous. But they were like, no, it's not. I know those guys. I know that guy too. Why? People are they're work associated, a lot of co-workers. I know him personally. No, he's not. This one, that. Boom. Mom, Dad, when night took that happened, what did you guys do? Oh, we avoided that. You don't want to go there. They go, well, you didn't do anything. Now's the time, and Generation Z understands. It says that's not good enough. People are becoming more empathetic. You got the grassroots. You got grassroots meets backpack, okay, meets the conservative energy people and, culture people and music and all this stuff to come together, and it forms a melting pot. And these kids, Generation Z, they realize we have to control this land or we're going to lose everything we have here. You got Silicon Valley and all these things are really picking up. We're world leaders and we're not showing it right now. And these kids are going, well, where is the authority? Where's the leadership? And they're not afraid to take it upon themselves. COVID, no COVID. They're sure they're going to blame it on the COVID now. Oh, first it was China, now it's us, it's this, it's that. Okay, fine. But the problem is, this should never have came to this. Could have all been avoided. But I do believe in Generation Z. The baby boomers and all that shit, they trying to hang on to the past. That shit is over. Okay? For America to be great again, it will be. But look at the crowd. Look at the integration of people. They want to be there no matter what and take things and clean it up. And that gives them peace of mind and contribution to mankind. That's a human response. It responds to humanity. It gives humanity life. It keeps the humanity race going on grace, contributing, trying to figure ways to solve a problem that was avoided for 400 years at least. Kudos to Gen Z and all of us grandpas and grandmas that get out there and support them in our way too. Go out there and protest if you're doing it, if you're not, or whatever. We have to be careful with the young kids that we got it. We don't need we can do this ourselves. They're autonomous. They don't need mommy and daddy. Those are your future senators, your future lawyers, your future presidents. They're right there in that group. And the more you agitate them, the more you agitate these guys, the more you prove their case. And you make them right. You give them the drive because they are right. But you give them the drive and the motivation. The more you agitate them, because the people started agitating, they started getting, get out of here. We don't want you, give me this, give me that. You started getting attacked by everybody. So agitators are bringing the people more closer together. The president is bringing them more closer together. Everything on the outside that's negative is bringing everybody together faster in warp speed. So for George Floyd, Sean Bell, Rodney King, you know, there's a lot of people here. Aubrey Amadou Diallo got shot 41 times by police officers, and Ahmaud Aubrey was killed just by, you know, it wasn't police at that time. It was just by being black, jogging while black. Okay. The 57-year-old man, the 75-year-old man that got pushed in Buffalo, cracked his skull. You know, this is it's too much, man. Martin Gugino, 75, protest. Cops pushed him, fell back, cracked his head, and they kept walking. One officer was going to pick him up because there's a human response. He had a trigger response to go pick the guy up. Like, oh my goodness! And the guy said, "Push him." Said, keep going. Let's go. You know, they all retired. 57, 52, the 57 officers, you know, resigned that day. So change is coming, you know. So George, you know, cried for his mom. He cried for his mama. Last breath, he says, "Mom, help me." You know, that's profound. He you know, she's there, and she's, "I can't. This is your purpose." He's like, I don't want, you know, help me, Mom. And he had to be in so much pain because the last part of his breath, he just let go. You should see him let go. He was straining and trying to breathe, and he just let himself go. Mom was right there. Come, you know. It's no need for it. But the purpose, you know, there was a higher purpose, a higher reason that we don't understand, but we're seeing it now worldwide. He created a massive change that the world's never seen before. Not like this. We had Kobe. It dwarfs all that. I mean, everything else dwarfs it compared to this. Kobe and everything else is very important, Nipsey Hussle and all that, but this is significant. This is a human thing. Didn't need a celebrity to support this guy. It had much more weight, although they'll welcome everyone that can help. That's fine. But the point of the matter is that this organic video of this horrible, horrific situation propelled and sparked the world of humanity all over again. And I pray that it continues. Do our part. Maybe people that don't like this, that people that they're gonna hate still and not like, and that's fine. That's fine. No one's saying not to do that, but you know, you keep that. You know, you can feel the way you want to feel. You understand? There's no one saying you're not to feel. You have a right to feel the way you feel. You know, but self-understanding, self-awareness, knowing why you do these things. You know, it's your life. You know what you do with it. Make it the best. Make it your life count. You know. But again, I want to, you know, rest in power, and I appreciate the fact that this is going somewhere significant and making real changes from corporations on down, offices, and governments, and change for all people. Okay, a better understanding, a chance to wipe away the stench of the past 400 years and feeling bad for it, that you couldn't do anything for it. Then these kids are doing something now. Gen Z is doing something now. They're going, no, I wasn't there, but here's what I can do now. I'm not going to be part of that. I'm part of the new movement. This is a movement. Yo, like, subscribe, comment below. If you're new, sign into the channel, you're welcome. You know, once you're here, like I said, your family, once your family, I got you. Yo, Excel, and I'm out.